Absolutely.
Journalism is dead. Hello. Yeah.
Email Scott Morrison and Maurice Payne. Demand Julian Assange is released. Free Julian Assange. Jail the war criminals. Jail the war criminals.
His extradition to America. It dies. It's over.
It means any journalist can be extradited because the US government doesn't like what's being reported about it.
We have seen the activists fighting outside, and this campaign will go on because the campaign for Julian's freedom is the campaign for the freedom of everyone. Thank you.
We must be truthfully informed, and we must hold our governments to account.
At the hearing yesterday, last night,
I sent him an email today too. Julian,
telling him what we've been doing and that, and how we went to ScoMo's office, and how we're painting the town yellow and yellow ribbon. Give him a bit of a boost. Good
Free Julian Assange. Stand up for press freedom and democracy.
How about that?
Yeah.
Innocent civilians. That's why the US military, that sceptred empire, is putting an Australian who has spilt the beans, blown the whistle.
Kerry O'Brien said today, the Morrison government should use its close friendship with the US to push hard for the extradition proceedings to be dropped against Julian Assange. The New York Times published the same revelations, and even earlier than Julian Assange did, and they did so with impunity. No one has gone against the New York Times. The US government has decided only to wage a vendetta against one individual, Julian Assange. These revelations were published with impunity, but this government, the Australian government, should demand the same treatment for one of our own journalists, for Julian Assange. We need this extradition, this fraud extradition request to be dropped. Mr. Morrison, do something about it. Thank you.
Yes! Yes!
Julian Assange was nowhere near. Please listen to this because it's a very deep and important comment. All rise for the court. All rise. All rise for her worship.
I'm Judge Berater. We are here again at the Old Bailey to continue with the formalities of extraditing Mr. Julian Paul Assange to the headquarters of the military-industrial complex in the United States of America. I want this hearing to be wrapped up as quickly as possible because the prosecution have been handicapped by not having arguments that withstand scrutiny, and that is beginning to show. I shall now reluctantly allow a few moments for an expert report prepared by Noam Chomsky to be read by the defence into the court record. No time will be permitted for its examination or for placing it into context of the legal argument of whether the extradition of Mr. Assange is politically motivated or not. I'll hand over to the defence now. The defence is now stepping up to read out Mr. Chomsky's report.
My lady, I'd like to read to the court the following defence statement. Julian Assange's actions, which have been categorized as criminal, are actions that expose power to sunlight, actions that may cause power to evaporate if the population grasps the opportunity to become independent citizens of a free society, rather than subjects of a master who operates in secret. That is a choice, and it's long been understood that the public can cause power to evaporate. The one leading thinker who understood and explained this critical fact was David Hume, writing on the first principles of government in one of the first modern works of political theory over 250 years ago. His formulation was so clear and pertinent that I'll simply quote it. Hume found nothing more surprising than to see the easiness with which the many are governed by the few, and to observe the implicit submission with which men resigned their own sentiments and passions to those of their rulers. When we inquire by what means this wonder is brought about, we shall find that as force is always on the side of the governed, the governors have nothing to support them but opinion. It is therefore an opinion only that government is founded, and this maxim extends to the most despotic and the most military governments, as well as to the most free and the most popular. One device to control the population is to operate in secret, so that the ignorant and people like Julian Assange, outsiders, will stay in their place, remote from the levels of power which are none of their business. That's the main purpose for classification of internal documents. Anyone who has poured through the archives of released documents has surely come to realize pretty quickly that what is kept secret very rarely has anything at all to do with security, except for the security of the leadership from their domestic enemy, their own population. The practice is so routine that illustration is really quite superfluous. I'll mention only one contemporary case. Consider the global trade agreements, the Pacific and the Atlantic. In actuality, investor rights agreements masquerading under the rubric of free trade. They are negotiated in secret. There is an intention of a Stalinist-style ratification by Parliament, yes or no, which of course means yes, with no discussion or debate. What's called in the United States to fast track. To be accurate, they are not negotiated, they are entirely secret. The facts are known to the corporate lawyers and lobbyists who are writing the details in such a way as to protect the interest of the constituency that they represent, which of course is not the public. The public, on the contrary, is an enemy that must be kept in ignorance. Julian Assange's alleged crime in working to expose government secrets is to violate the fundamental principles of government, to lift the veil of secrecy that protects power from scrutiny, keeps it from evaporating, and again, it is well understood by the powerful that lifting the veil may cause power to evaporate. It may even lead to authentic freedom and democracy if an aroused public comes to understand that force is on the side of the governed, and it can be their force if they choose to control their own fate. In my view, Julian Assange, in courageously upholding political beliefs that most of us profess to share, has performed an enormous service to all the people in the world who treasure the values of freedom and democracy, and who therefore demand the right to know what their elected representatives are doing. Julian's actions, in turn, have led him to be pursued in a cruel and intolerable manner. Thank you.
Well, now that the formality of hearing from Noam Chomsky is done, we can cram the rest of these tiresome expert statements into the remaining available time. But first, the court will adjourn. Usher?
All rise.
All rise.
Oh, brilliant acting there.
Julian Assange!
Julian Assange! Julian Assange! Julian Assange! Julian Assange! No extradition!
Only one decision.
No extradition!
Free Julian Assange!
There's only one decision.
No extradition!
There's only one decision.
No extradition!
There's only one decision.
No extradition! Julian Assange!
Come on, ScoMo! Call up Boris and get him home! Come on, ScoMo! Call up Boris! Call up Donald Trump! Tell him we want him home. He's done nothing wrong. He hasn't harmed anybody. He's embarrassed people and done terrible things, and we want him home. It's the most unjust thing we've probably seen in 100 years in this country. We need to get him home. Free!
Julian Assange!
Free! Julian Assange! Free!
Julian Assange.
Come on, Elmo! Tell ScoMo he better get on the phone to Boris.
Bring him home!
Bring him home!
Bring him home! Bring him home!
Bring him home!
Bring him home!
Bring him
Bring him home!
home!
Bring him 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 home! Bring him home! Bring him home! Bring him home!
Bring him home! Bring him home! Bring him home, ScoMo!
Ladies and gentlemen, we'd like you all to know that Judge Berater has said she's not going to hand down the decision until after the American elections. So how can they say this is not a political matter? He's a political prisoner and he's been kept. They've perverted the course of justice for political purposes. The British judiciary ought lawyer, every barrister, every judge in the entire Western system. And there's hardly a single barrister down there in Phillip Street won't say this privately to you. They're embarrassing the entire legal profession and our entire noble legal system, which we need to have credibility. Try and find a lawyer that won't agree with what we're saying. I'd like to hand you over to a lawyer that's one of us here, Noam.
I just want you to follow me on a chant for Julian Assange. There is only one decision. No extradition. Only one decision. No extradition. Only one decision. No extradition. Free Julian Assange. Free Julian Assange. Free Julian Assange. There's only one decision. No extradition. Here in STOMO, there's only one decision. No extradition. STOMO, no extradition. There's only one decision. No extradition. No extradition.
This is like the most important thing, the most important cause at the moment. That's why I'm here. It's really, really, really important that everyone considers that our freedom of speech is being eroded from underneath us at a rapid pace, and we need to protest about that. You know, we need press freedoms. We need people to be free to say whatever they want to say. And if we don't have that, then that's a disgrace. You know, the fact that they're doing what they are trying to do to Julian means that they will want to do this to other people as well. And you know, when there's a war or something like that going on somewhere in the world, we need to know what it's about. We need to know what they're doing. We need to know what the military is doing. And we need to, we must know if they're committing war crimes. We must know. I think it's incredibly important that we all get involved with this, and that we all, come here and make a lot of noise, especially on the Friday night 5 till 7, and whenever there's a rally, we need to come here and make a lot of noise. Saturday night, this long weekend, is daylight saving. For clarification, Friday evenings between 5 p.m. and 7 p.m. here at the Sydney Town Hall, that is the place to be. And then we have, people giving talks, we have people holding up signs, people wearing t-shirts that look like this. That's where you need to be.